In this video, we are discussing about the distribution needed for hypothesis testings. To test for the hypothesis, it is necessary to select an appropriate statistical techniques. In this chapter or sections, we are focusing on a few particular distributions that are associated with the hypothesis testing. And recall that the test statistic is the value that we are using to make a decision about the null hypothesis. And this is just a value of a measurement, how close the sample has come to the null hypothesis. Each observed value changes randomly from one random sample to different samples. And this test statistic here contains the information about the data that is relevant for deciding whether to reject the null hypothesis or not. Now, there are two parameters that we are focusing on this chapter: proportion P or the mean mu. Now, for the proportion, we are only using the normal Z or the Z-test for the test statistics. And there are a few requirements. Make sure that you have to check that before you can apply the Z-test. Make sure that it is the binomial distribution, or it satisfies the normal approximation to the binomial. Or you can check the two inequalities here, NP0 and NQ0. They are all bigger than 5, and P is just the sample proportions. For the mean, we have two cases. One is you are using the student T distribution or the T-test, or the other one you are using again the same normal Z or the Z-test. Now we are using the student T when we are not given the standard deviation of the population, and we are using the normal Z when we do have the information for the standard deviation of the populations, sigma. And again, make sure that the population needs to be normally distributed for both cases. And if for the student T, if the population is not normally distributed, then you are required to have the sample size n to be bigger than 30 in order to apply these two statistics. If the population is not normally distributed, then we require the n to be bigger than 30. And then the last case, the standard deviation sigma, and we are using the chi-square distribution for that, and we'll talk more about that in the future chapter.